Wait, Russell Westbrook is an overpaid player? I think so, because today we're looking at the most overpaid players in NBA history. Here we go. At number 5, Kevin Love. The Cleveland Cavaliers executed what felt at the time like an emotional decision, signing Kevin Love to a 4-year, $120.4 million extension shortly after LeBron James left them a second time in 2018. Love is a gifted offensive player who shelved the top option game he established with the Minnesota Timberwolves for a secondary role behind James in Cleveland. You could argue the Wolves version of Love was worth that $120 million, but that guy was 25 and may have enjoyed some statistical inflation due to a lack of talent around him. It's much harder to justify making that kind of investment in a player on the wrong side of 30 with a fairly significant injury history, especially if you're not poised to be a playoff team, even in the unlikely scenario late stage Love performs like his younger self. Though his annual salary declines in the final year of the contract, and though Love is still a helpful offensive player whose various skills work well in any number of different schemes, we're still dealing with a negative asset. Cleveland is in the early stages of its rebuild, and Love is very much out of place in that situation. He'd be far better utilized on a winner for which his best attributes, floor spacing, and passing savvy could augment high-end teammates' performance. The Cavs would have to surrender picks or young players to entice another team to take on his deal, but those are exactly the commodities they should retain. Love's contract is a prime example of how a single overpay can have far-reaching effects. He's overpaid generally, but the problem is worse due to his specific situation. At number 4, Andrew Wiggins. Moving on, we have Andrew Wiggins. It's hard to argue the Golden State Warriors wanted Wiggins so much as they needed to offload D'Angelo Russell for the type of wing that better addressed their needs. Wiggins is that type of wing who is rangy, has an athletic talent, who's scored at high volumes, and has the physical tools to be a good defender. In theory, he's exactly the kind of supporting player Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green need. But yeah, things are only in theory here. In practice, he hasn't lived up to his number 1 pick potential and is, unfortunately, compensated as he has. Wiggins' first year in the league was 2014-15. Since then, 141 players have attempted at least 3,000 field goals. Wiggins ranks 126th among that group in true shooting percentage. Though there are only 3 seasons left on the 5-year, $147.7 million extension he signed with the Timberwolves in 2017, the Warriors' status as likely taxpayers means he'll cost them significantly more than the $94.7 million that they owe him. Wiggins' chances at stardom seem to have passed, and he's definitely not in a position now to reclaim them. The Warriors belong to Curry, Thompson, and Green. Even if he excels in a supporting role, upending the narratives about his lack of competition, will, and inability to contribute efficiently, he'll be overpaid. Third or fourth options, even great ones, aren't worth over $30 million per season. At number 3, Russell Westbrook. It wasn't so long ago that Russell Westbrook's contract qualified as a genuine bargain. He led the league in box plus minus and won MVP in 2016-17 while collecting $26.5 million in salary. Russ was the 3rd highest paid player in the NBA that year. He was also, by some measures, the best. Now that's what I consider value. Fast forward, Westbrook was again the 3rd highest paid player in the league during the 2019-20 season. But to be honest, he was nowhere near the top in terms of production. Sure, those 27.2 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 7.0 assists look like superstar numbers, but Westbrook's inability to threaten defenses from distance was a major reason that the Houston Rockets had to remake the roster, abandoning centers so only one player, their point guard, could be ignored by perimeter defenders. Otherworldly athleticism defined Westbrook's best years, but if you're a good critique, you could see it waning a little this past season. As that continues, which it will, Russ will play his age 32 season in 2020-21, the downward trendline in his production should accelerate. Westbrook has never been a consistent defender, and his passing feel abandoned him in the playoffs, where the Rockets exited in the second round. Houston owes Westbrook about $132.6 million over the next 3 seasons, and the Westbrook who is its 2nd best player and also the one headed for a potentially steep decline. That's tough, and it's tougher because the tools that the Rockets might have used to offload such a salary, 1st-round picks, are in short supply. Houston gave up 2 future firsts and swap rights on 2 more to get Russ in the first place. Although this is all just my general opinion, don't come at me with knives if he's your favorite player. At number 2, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is durable, a valued teammate, and has a skill set that includes reliable 3-point shooting and great size for a perimeter player. Tobias Harris was also the third and sometimes fourth option on a team with one playoff series win in the last 2 years. Character and scoring ability are worth something, but whatever that something is, it isn't worth $180 million over 5 years. The Philadelphia 76ers are shelling out max money for production that other players could replicate at a fraction of the cost. TJ Warren was a more efficient scorer than Harris last season, beating him in points per game and true shooting percentage. Harris has advantages in other areas, not the least of which being an asset rate more than double Warren's, but Warren is a year younger and posted a superior box plus minus and player efficiency rating. Maybe Harris's more dynamic playmaking and better rebounding rates give him a slight value advantage over Warren, but that doesn't justify paying him a hair under 3 times Warren's salary next year and the one after. Oh, and then Philly will still be on the hook for another 2 years at a total of $76.9 million, which is also fully guaranteed. Granted, Warren is underpaid for his production, and we're comparing similar players at the extreme ends of the over and underpaid spectrum. If that seems unfair to Harris, consider Bojan Bogdanovic, also a free agent in 2019 and also a score-first forward. Bogdanovic posted a higher true shooting percentage than Harris with a nearly identical usage rate in 2018-19, but he got less than half of that guaranteed money at $73.1 million from the Utah Jazz that Harris received from the Sixers. Bogdanovic proceeded to thoroughly outproduce Harris this past season. Philadelphia didn't have the means to replace Harris by signing an outside free agent, and its willingness to go deep into the tax to retain talent is, on some level, laughable. But Harris is now one of the only 7 fours in the league whose contract extends as far as the 2023-24 season. And finally, at number 1, John Wall. The Washington Wizards got absolutely nothing for the $38.2 million they gave John Wall in 2019-20, as the 5-time All-Star missed the entire season while recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon. That injury contributed to a stretch of time off for Wall that could reach 2 full years. That layoff and the generally not so great transformative impact of Wall's particular injury cast doubt on his effectiveness going forward. Well, perhaps as much as any player in the league depends on his speed. Yes, he's still going to hit shooters in the weak side corner, his vision should remain undimmed, and maybe the long stretch of rehabilitation and work will yield a version of Wall with the first reliable perimeter jumper of his career. Well, there are ways for his play and his deal to be something less than catastrophic, but everything gets harder for Wall if he doesn't have the end-to-end burst and short area explosion that defined his game through his 20s. If the only worry attending Wall were the natural aging curve and the athletic regression it brings, there'd still be cause for concern. Wall made $41.3 million in 2020-21, he will make $44.3 million in 2021-22, and has a player option for $47.5 million in 2022-23, his age 32 season. That's entirely way too much for a Wizards team that has never even advanced past the second round with a younger, healthier Wall. Well, that's it for today, guys. Let us know which overpaid player shocked you the most in the comments section down below. And thank you so much for watching yet another video of Triple Double Nation. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.